So Tony Brown of Process Street, thank you so much for joining us for
Thanks for having me.
for a group demo about Process Street. So I have been seeing some stuff about Process Street. I certainly on your blog, and I'm kind of excited to see how the whole program works. So when you and I are working through this, you're actually going to help me build out some workflows and see how it works after you're done your live demo of it, right?
Yep, absolutely fine. Yeah, like I said, it's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to taking you on your process journey. So yeah, I'll just run through sort of a demo covering the main functions and features of the platform.
Okay, great.
And if you've got any questions as I go through it, then feel free to ask.
Okay.
And at the end, if you've got time, we'll probably start from scratch and try to build a template and a checklist from scratch.
That'd be great. I'd like to build one from scratch, and you told me I could import one from Excel, so I'm going to see what that looks like. Great, thanks.
Yeah, we'll try that out. Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Yeah, so do you want me to share my screen and then I can get straight into this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, first to say, one of our mission statements here at Process Street is to make recurring work fun, fast, and faultless for teams everywhere, and that's the whole focus of this platform. It's a clean and tidy platform. We try to make it as as user friendly as possible, and make it as easy and seamless as possible to get up and running with your workflows, with your processes, your checklists, etc., and just get going. The real focus is to get you up and running as quick as possible. So when you first sign up for your Process Street account, this will be the first page you come to. This is your home page, and you'll see there's a number of folders laid out here. Now, when you first sign up, you won't see all these folders. I've just built these out for this demo, but you will see they're built out into departments. So we've got like human resources, finance, marketing, operations, sales, etc. And the reason we do that is to help you to manage the permissions on each folder, because you might have people in let's say your marketing department, who you wouldn't necessarily want to have access to templates and checklists in your finance folder. So by separating like this, you can build your templates in separate folders and manage the permissions that way. So just for this example, what I'll do, I'll go into the finance folder there, and you can see there's a number of things here. These bold headings here, these represent templates, and underneath each template you'll see these blue rectangles. These represent checklists. Now the templates are your master copy. It's a master of your process.
Okay.
This is where you'll build out all your steps. You'll add all your content in there. We'll jump into that in a minute. And then underneath that, your checklists are individual instances of that template. So, for example, if you've got, say, 40 clients you're working with, and you've got to run this accounts payable process for each client, you'd have a different one of these for each client. But again, we'll jump into these in a second. In terms of creating the templates, it's as simple as going over here and hitting this big green new button, and you'll be presented with these options here, which are start with a blank template, which is what we said we'll do later on, or start with a pre-made template. Now, in Process Street, what we have got is a library full of pre-made templates. If I just click that, you'll see there's a drop-down menu appears here. If we hit this drop-down menu, you'll see there's a load of options here to choose from. And under each one of these options, there are a number of pre-mades. So if you just click finance there, and when it decides to kick in, it's running a bit slow. There's probably quite a few in this one. Let's just click back out and let's try onboarding. There we go. So we've gone to employee onboarding. You'll see there's a number of options to choose from, and it's as simple as just finding a checklist that suits you. So if we just click that option, it will then give you a sort of a summary of the template. And if you want to pull this into our organization, we can just click customize, and I'll pull that straight into your Process Street organization. And you'll see these pre-made templates, they are quite thorough. They've been built out pretty thoroughly by the team in-house here at Process Street. And I mean, with this, you could literally start working through this immediately. You can start using this format here to onboard your new employees. But there may be some things you want to customize. So you could go in here and edit templates, and you could literally just start customizing this specifically for your business. And that's as quickly as you can get started, right from scratch, from being a newbie, never seen the products before, to literally pulling in a pre-made template and start working through the process. It's as quick as that.
Cool.
Yeah. So if we just go back to home, what I'll do, I'll show you some of the template features. So if we go back to finance, so we'll have a look at this accounts payable process here. What I'll do, so this is the template. So the difference between the templates and the checklist, the template is where you build out your master. This is your master copy. So in the old world, this would be your Word file on your computer.
Right.
The checklist would be the printed off version you would do for the client when they get started with you. So no matter what edits and changes you make to the checklist, it would never affect your template. Your template remains the same all the time.
Okay.
So you'll see there's a number of, on the left hand side here, we've got all these steps. These are all of the steps involved in completing the process. And then as we click through, you'll see there's a number of different options over here. And these have been built out to add context to the step. So this is like the headline. This is a task, enter purchase order details. So you imagine you're training a new member of staff. They may have had some experience doing this, but in terms of the way you do it, they might not be fully up to speed with the way you want it done. So you can add some additional content here to explain to them, this is how we do things around here. This is how we, we work through this process.
So this is all your best practices.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
These are all the step-by-step instructions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, certainly. And you can see we can start actually filling out details here. So we've got the company name, the vendor company name, etc. We've got an email formatted option here, and these are all form fields. So when you run a checklist, these can be filled out by the person completing the checklist, and all that data will be recorded here in the checklist. We've then got department info. So you can see it's a basic form that's been created here on this task. And this is just one task, and this could run on, you can add as many different fields in here as you need, and just keep going until you've got all the details you need specifically for this task. You can see we can set due dates here, which are quite important. Obviously for a process like this, you're going to want to set certain due dates for tasks to be completed. And then here in this task here, you'll see this is a what we call an email widget. So what we've done here, we've added a widget to actually create and pre-write an email within the checklist. So anytime this checklist is run, the email will be ready for you to send. It's literally sitting there waiting for you to send. All these grayed out areas will be filled out using variable data, and that'll be pulled in from elsewhere within the checklist. So when a checklist is being completed, all these areas will be completed automatically as well. So all you literally have to do is just press send. I mean, it says test send here.
Yeah.
That's because we haven't run a checklist yet. This is still a template. But all we do is press send, and that would open up a draft of this email in your email client. So let's say you use Gmail, for example.
Right.
It would open this up in Gmail. You would have a chance to see it as a draft, make any necessary edits if needed, and then you can hit send, and that will go. And that will always come from your inbox, so your clients will always know it's from you.
That's fantastic. There's not that many programs that and I harp and I nag on people about not creating emails twice. So having it built right into the process is like big win.
Yeah. And I'll run through these, and what I'll do, I'll show you, how quick and easy you can build these. I mean, these are literally drag and drop.
Okay.
Again, we've got another email here, another one there. So there's a number of emails that are being fired off. And again, you imagine, you're training a new member of staff, or you've got a new member of your team joining. They can work through this and get started straight away. They haven't got to mess about,
Right.
What email, where's the email template? What email do I use to send for this part of the process?
Right.
What wording do I use? Where do I pull that data from? It's all here.
That's fantastic.
And again, all this information here is filled out automatically when this is being completed. Again, you can add images in here as well. So if someone needs a a visual representation of a process, you can pull that in here. In terms of files, you can add, JPEGs, PNGs. You can add, any type of image format in there without a problem. And just to note as well, you'll see here in between the steps, you've got some bolded areas. These are just header sections, and you'll see if I, I'm going to run a checklist. Let's run a checklist.
Okay.
Just so I can show you the difference between the headers and the steps. So again, like I mentioned, the header sections here, you'll see there's nothing to tick off. There's no checkbox to tick. Where with the standard task segments here, every one of them's got a tick box. So with the headers, all you need to do is just literally add a colon afterwards. And what this does, it helps you to break your process up into segments or sections.
Right.
So again, you've got your introductory section in here. You've got the purchase order section. We go down to the receiving report. So it's all broken up into sections. So again, it's very easy for someone to just work through and understand where they are at any stage, rather than just having sort of 30 tasks all back to back.
Yeah,
it helps to break them down.
For sure. I love sections and phases of something.
Yeah. So again, here I mentioned about the email section. If I start filling out some information here, so if we put in company name, let's put in Brown Homes. We'll call it Brown Books. There we go. And then the vendor we're working for is Brown Homes. And his name is Tony Brown.
This is starting to sound familiar.
He's a great client, actually. I've heard he always pays on time. And then we'll add an email address here. So we'll just put in tony.b process.st. So there we go. You'll see, until we gave it a valid email format, it wouldn't allow me to complete that. So it has to be a valid email format. And we'll add number in there. We'll add 001 555 555. There we go. And in the receiving department, we'll send that to Kelly. Kelly Parks. There we go. And her email will be Kelly. We'll just put email.com for now. Oops. So you see then, because it wasn't formatted correctly.
I saw that, so you don't get too far along and then get stuck.
That's right, yeah. Purchase order number 009.
Not 007?
That's 009. Okay, so we'll want to set a send date. So we'll set a send date for the end of the month here.
Oh, a send date, like the email will automatically send? No.
No, what we're doing here, we're telling a member of staff, this is a date this email needs to be sent by.
Got it.
So we're just adding a date into this segment here, just to say, by this date, the email needs to be sent off. And a delivery date we'll put for 7 days later. So we'll go for the 7th. There we go. So it's got to be delivered by that date. Goods and services being purchased, we'll put Business Pro Plan times 500 seats. There we go.
Okay.
We've got 500 down there. We'll have 500 seats there in quantity. And the unit price is $30. There we go. And we'll set a payment date here as well. So we'll just say we want payment by 30 days. So we'll say payment by June 30th. Shipping delivery information. We'll send it to 55 Process Street. Yeah, there you go. And that's in Kellie, USA. Further notes. This is a great customer. If I can spell it right. Then well, there we go. So we've just captured some basic information there.
Sure, yeah.
So if we complete this task, if we go to the next section, you can see it's actually filled out the email here. So again, we haven't had to fill out that email. We haven't had to write anything other than fill out these sections in the form here.
Right.
But again, you can automatically filled out this information. So it's pulled all that data over into this. And again, if we just hit send here now, it should hopefully open up.
I'm doing this, right?
So you can see it's open in Gmail now. So it's opening my default email account. And again, you can link this to any email account you've got or you use. You can just link it to your default email account and it will open up this email. So there you go. The email is ready to go. Dear Tony, please find attached your purchase order from Brown Books for a Business Pro plan. So it's ready to go. We just hit send and it'll send straight to that client. And you can see the emails there. It's got the purchase order details there. It's as quick as that.
So where's the form, the purchase order then?
Okay, so that will be further down in the process. So again, there's another email here. So again, we pulled in our details and we also pulled in your details. So there's another email here ready to go. Again, please find attached the purchase order. So if you go through, okay, so what it's doing, it's also sent an email to the senior accountant at the company.
Right.
Please find attach the purchase order. So let's have a look. So it's got some more information here. We can start ticking these off. And you can see here also these little red stars. These are signifying that these are required fields. So if I tried to tick this off without completing that, it wouldn't allow me. Actually, you'll see there, Kelly. Let me just show you this. So I've tried to click off a task here, and it won't allow me to do that. And the reason is, you see the little hand icons here.
Yeah.
These are what we call stop tasks. These are little stops. And what that does, it prevents me as a user here running through and ticking off tasks out of order. So
gotcha.
I can't complete this task here until I've completed all these stop tasks.
Okay, so it's conditional.
Well, it's enforcing the order of the process. So again, I need to go in here and complete this. So once that's done, I can now go in here. I can mark this one as done. I can go in here. I'll click that, send that off, mark that as done. And as I mark these little stop tasks off, it will allow me to then complete the next task. So again, we'll just mark that. Go to the next one. So again, we've got these required fields here. We can just start marking these off. So what's this? This is the receiving report. So here, there's a document here we can just download. So this has been added to the template. This document has. So this, you can upload documents into your template that the person completing it can download. And that would give them any necessary information related to the task they're completing. So if I just hit download on here, you'll see it will just download this straight into my my downloads folder here. And I can open this up. Whatever it opens in, I'm not sure.
Right.
This is a surprise. Let's hope it's nothing nothing it shouldn't be. There we go. So it's opened up a receiving report. So you can see, you can add files in here necessary or required for the task. Let's just mark that off and go to the next step. So again, contact the relevant people, gather the relevant information. So it's giving me all the information I need to complete this task. Yeah. Now, I mean, you can see I'm moving quickly through it. It's not really that important in terms of the information I'm putting in. But you can see how quickly you can move through a process, have all the information at hand, all the documents you need. They're all there for you. So again, what's here? Documents received. Let's have a look. So we'll say purchase order. We'll complete that task and move on to the next step. So again, in here, you can see this one, it's got an explainer video. So there may be some steps in the process where the person completing it might need, some more detail, some more information, more of a detailed explanation that you couldn't necessarily write out or easily explain in written format. So you can actually add a video.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, is that is it a link or what do you, to where you're hosting it, I guess, right?
Yeah. So what you can do, again, if I just jump over to show you the edit page, if I go to edit this template, It's as simple as using one of the video widgets.
Right.
So you'll see here, there's a video. All we've done is pulled in a video widget here, drop that in, and it gives you an option to either paste a YouTube URL, a Vimeo URL, or a Wistia URL. So those are 3 video hosting platforms. You can just cut and paste the URL to that video and it will pull it straight in, and it'll be embedded within the checklist. If it's a video that's not hosted anywhere, you can just click upload video and it will upload it from your hard drive or from an external hard drive you've got somewhere, and again embed it directly there into the checklist. So again, you saw when I was in checklist mode, I didn't have to click anything in terms of to veer away from the process. I could actually watch that video right here in the checklist. So again, it just keeps everyone focused, still within the process. Yeah.
Yeah, for best practices and stuff, that's amazing for accounting professionals.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like I said, it's all about keeping you focused, keeping you on track. Everything's within the checklist. We just keep working through it. You haven't got to open, loads of tabs or anything and have a video over here and documents floating over there. It's all here within the checklist.
Right.
Yeah. So once we've done that, we need to select another option. Did the information match? Yes. So we can complete that task. And we're moving quickly through this process now. Now that all the checks have been done, let's see what we need to do. Enter the invoice into the account. So let's just mark that as done. We'll go through it quickly. Okay, yeah, and let's just mark that off. Because all I want to do is just get to the end and to show you where all this data will be stored once you've completed the checklist. So again, there's another email here. This is to schedule the payment. So again, we did the same thing. We'd click send. That would open up in our email client. We'd send that email to the appropriate person. So we can mark that as done. Stamp all documents. So again, it's giving you some steps which link to your physical process here. So let's stamp all the physical paper copies or use a digital system. So yeah, we've done that. We can move on.
I like that you can add a comment. And so when you type in add, obviously you're letting other users know they have a role or there's something they need to know. That's right. Yeah. So does it ping them?
Yeah. So let's say in this instance, you're my line manager and I've got a question about this. Rather than sending you an email in, or trying to shout across the room to you or something, I can just write a comment in here. I could just say, hi, Kelly. But what I would do, I would actually @mention you. But because you're not in my organisation, I need to show you how this would work. If I @mention you, if I use the @ sign, it will actually pull up all the members of the organisation. So in this case, we've got my colleague Anne, Dana, and Susan. So I could, if I want to reach out to Dana, I'd say, hi, Dana. Can you check this for me? And then when I send that, when I hit this, it will not only post a comment here in the checklist for Dana to follow up with, it will also send an email to her in her, whether it's a Gmail account or Outlook account.
Right.
And it will actually paste the message in the email. And she can either respond directly from her inbox by replying to that email or click a link and it will bring her right here to the checklist, to this specific task.
Cool.
So all she has to do is click reply. And she can reply straight here, or she can just click a link and it'll bring her directly here into the checklist again. So it keeps all the comments and conversations specific to the task and the checklist at hand. So
cool.
Again,
now,
imagine
so
you're juggling.
those team members could be clients too, right?
That's right. Yeah, as long as they are a guest or a member within your Process Street organization, you can mention them here in the comments. So. Again, in terms of building out your organization, I'll go over some of the organizational and administration sides a bit later on.
Yeah.
You can add members and guests, and each of those can be mentioned here in the comments. So, great question. So again, we'll just keep moving through the process, and there you go. That was the last task, and we had our confetti. So the process is complete. So once it's completed. Once we've celebrated, yes, we've done it, we've finished that task, we can move on to something else. We can go and put the kettle on and make a nice cup of coffee or tea, whichever you prefer. But what we also want to do is to basically take a look at the data that has been collected.
Yeah.
We'll just have an overview of the process. And what we would do, we would go to, if we go to the actual template here, if we just click the template, you'll see so we've come off the checklist now, and we're back in template view. But up here, next to the template, we've got overview. If we click overview, what that will do is just show us all the checklists that have been run underneath that template. So in this instance, we've only got 3 checklists. We've just started the process. We've only got 3 checklists running at the moment. You'll see 2 of them are marked as active, and 1 of them is marked as complete. So that's one I've just completed. Now, what you can do with the overview, you can, if let's say you had, I don't know, 100 checklists.
Right.
What you could do is you could basically use this search feature and search for a checklist by name.
Gotcha.
So I'm assuming within your organization, you'd have a standardized naming format for each checklist, based on whether it's your client or whatever process whatever format you choose. You could just search for them. So again, if we just type in here Tony, it will pull up any checklist with my name in it, and then you can also filter it down by status. So if we only wanted to see completed checklists, we could just click that, and it will only show us the completed checklists. You may also only want to see checklists that have been completed or assigned to certain individuals in your organization. Right. And again, what you can do is just go through and select a specific individual, and it will only show you the checklists that have been assigned to that person. So again, it just helps in terms of finding the appropriate checklists and filtering out. Again, if you've got hundreds of checklists running at any given time, you want to find the one you need quickly, and it just helps to do that.
Yeah.
So once we find a checklist we want, what we can then do is start scrolling through, and you can see here each one of these columns represents a task within that checklist, and you can see the ticks represent that's been completed.
So in the end, it starts to look like a Gantt chart.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I have one question though. Right above the word vendor, or right next to export to CSV. What's that?
Yeah.
Next to that. Yeah. What's that?
This one here.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to get to that, so I'll jump to it now. So
sorry.
Basically, so all these tasks here, all these columns represent all the tasks within the checklist. Now, it might be a case that you don't want to see everything, because you can imagine, this is quite long. There's quite a number of columns there. Not all of the information may be appropriate to you in terms of the report you want to run or the information you're looking for.
Yep.
So what you can do here is you can start filtering out the columns. So if you just click that icon there, and you can filter out the columns you don't want to see.
Oh,
so we can say, we don't want to see none of this. We'll get rid of all of this. We don't want to see none of that. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of all this.
Is that sticky so that the next time you come in, how you filtered it is...
That's right. So once you've hit done,
it
will remember the options you've selected. And every time you log in and come to this specific template overview, it will show you that view again. So you can set your view and keep it like that. So you can see now the columns have reduced. We've kept it to just the form fields that we captured. So again, you can see all the data we captured in those form fields are all there. We've just reduced that down. And again, this one's pretty standard. So
sure.
CSV, you can then hit that and download this as a CSV file, and you can import that into whatever you want to do, whether it's Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, and start building out a nice fancy report. So that's the overview. One more thing I wanted to show you, which I think is really useful. If we go back to the checklist, actually, no, we'll do it in the template. So here in the template, there may be some tasks within this. Let me just go to edit. Let me edit this template. There may be some tasks within this process that need to be assigned to a specific individual. So let's say you've got 3 or 4 people in different departments. There may be certain tasks that you want to assign to a specific individual or a specific team member or group. And you can use this assign feature here. So we could say, let's say these emails that were down here. So we want this email to be assigned to a specific individual. They're responsible for sending this out. We can just hit assign, find the individual within our organization, and we can just assign it to them. So you can see now that's now been assigned to Anne. Anne's responsible for sending out this email. So when this checklist is triggered, anytime a checklist is triggered, and it comes to this task, and we'll receive a notification telling her that there's a task ready for her to get on with. And if you might want to say, Kelly, you might want to say to Anne, you've got to send this email within a certain amount of time. We can then go ahead and set a due date as well. So we can say, we could say here 2 days after, for example, the previous task has been completed. So we can say 2 days after the previous task has been completed, this task needs to be completed. So if we just hit that, we've now added a dynamic due date to that.
Cool.
And again, that is, once you've set that in your template, every time you trigger a checklist, these will automatically be set. So, you could trigger 20 checklists any given time, and every time you trigger one, Anne will be assigned, and that 2-day dynamic due date will also be assigned as well. The great thing with dynamic due dates as well is you can link them to other date fields within the checklist. So you remember those dates we pulled in earlier?
Yeah.
What we could actually do, we could go in here and say, so here those the date fields. So we had the delivery date, the payment date, and the send date. We could actually say 2 days after the delivery date. So whatever date is selected in that field, this task here will become due 2 days after that. So you can see, you can build out dynamic dates there, which again, really useful. You haven't got to keep going in every time you trigger a checklist. You haven't got to keep going in and set a new due dates. It's all done for you here in the template, which is great. And then these little hand icons as well. I was mentioning about the stop tasks. It's as simple as just hitting this add a stop here. So you can see there's not one on this task at the moment. If I just hit add a stop, it will now make this into a stop task. So an individual couldn't move on to this next task until this task has been completed.
Okay, cool.
There's also a sneaky little feature here which you're not meant to know about yet. It's still in beta, but because obviously I'm
okay, cone of silence. Anybody who sees it, they won't say anything. But this looks fun. I was looking at that because this matters a lot to us in our industry.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of our most requested features. So we've been working on this for a while, and we're testing it out at the moment. It will probably be released, I would say, anytime soon. The tests are going well, it's working. But basically what this does is...
I like your level of commitment there, by the way, Tony. Sometime soon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime soon. Yeah.
Anytime soon, yeah.
Very, very diplomatic. So basically what this does, it restricts the permissions to a specific task. So oftentimes users assume that when you assign someone to a task, they can only see that task. But that's not the case. When you assign someone to a task, and they're a member or a guest of your organization, they can actually see the whole checklist. Now, there may be some sections or some tasks within the checklist that you don't want certain people to see. Let's say you'll have some internal processes that are only for your admin team. So what you can do is go to permissions, and you can basically restrict the permissions on that specific task. So here we could say, do we want all members to see it? No, we don't. We'll turn that off. Do we want guests to see it? No, we don't. And do we want them to be able to create a share link? No, we don't. So we'll turn those off. And then what we can do is add a new permission, and we can say this task here, only the finance group can see it. So we've now applied the finance group to that task. When we add that, only members of the finance group can now see that task. So you'll see there it's now saying there's a custom permission on there.
Wow, that's
fun. That's really useful. Yeah. So let's say, for example, when a guest runs this checklist, one of your clients might be working through certain segments. These restricted tasks, they won't see them. They won't even know they're there. They won't see them. So that's a great feature.
That's a great feature.
It is really great. What else have I got to cover? Okay, you may have seen this here, conditional logic. So again, another really powerful feature. What we can do with this is, with the conditional logic, there may be certain steps within the process where it starts to branch off. So for example, it might be a case of, tasks 1 to 14 are the same for every client. However, when you get to task 15 and 16, you may have some options, and it could be, have they paid on time? Yes or no. You know, do they have extended credit with us? Yes or no. So you may want to go down different paths you know, with regards to completing the process. What you don't want to do is have to build out 3 or 4 different checklists or templates for each one of those paths. So with conditional logic, what you can do is build all those paths within the checklist, within the template, and then apply certain rules to it. What I'll do, I'll just go here quickly, go to my demo org, and I'll show you a better example, just how it can work real simply. Just for those who aren't fully familiar with how it works. So you'll see here, we've got some options. We've got 3 options here. What service are we using? We've got a bronze service, a silver service, and a gold service. So if I just go to a checklist here, so we've built the bronze service, the silver service, and the gold service all into the template. And if I just go down to the conditional logic,
right,
so you'll see it's asking a question, what service are we using? What I've done here, there's no option selected. So you can see, if I just show more, there's no tasks shown here.
right.
So until we select a task, if we select bronze, it will now show the tasks related to the bronze service. If we select silver, it shows the silver related tasks. And if we select gold, it shows the gold related tasks.
Right.
So let's go to the conditional logic. All we've done is told the template to follow those rules. So we've hidden all the tasks by default. So if we go to the hidden tasks, you can see we've hidden all those, the bronze, silver, and gold tasks. We've hidden them by default. And then we've said, if we choose bronze, we want to show the bronze tasks. If we choose silver, and so on. Right. So it's as simple as that. Again, if you used it before, you're familiar with it. But it's really powerful like I said, in terms of saving time, rather than creating 3 or 4 different processes. It's all done through there.
Yeah, the other thing that's great about conditional logic is it reduces mistakes. You've reduced the options for people to make choices. You're forcing them down a path.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. There's 2 more things I want to show. I'm conscious of the time.
That's okay.
But there's 2 more things I do want to show you. The other one is the Process Street inbox. So with the inbox, if you'll see here, the way this works is when you've been assigned, either yourself or one of your colleagues has been assigned to a checklist or a task, it will appear here in their inbox. And again, this saves them having to mill around looking for checklists that they're working through, trying to remember which tasks they've been assigned to. You imagine you can come in of a morning, you can log into your account, and you can literally see what you've got to work through. And the great thing with this is the first ones it shows you are the overdue ones. These are the tasks that are overdue. They've had due dates assigned to them, and that due date has passed. And you can literally click on that link there, and it will take you straight to the task. You haven't even got to open a checklist. And then what you can do is you can just go through, you can literally work through that checklist here within your inbox. So you can start filling it out, completing it, and then just signing it off, and that will disappear. Same here. We can just go through here. We can set a date here. Let's complete this task and get it done. We want to clear our inbox. We want to get to inbox 0. That's what we want.
Right.
And then just mark that off. So you can see that's now disappeared from my inbox. And then the other ones underneath, you can see these have got no due dates assigned. So these are tasks and checklists that have been assigned to, but they haven't got any dates assigned to them. So I can just go through, open them up, and work through them at my leisure and just start marking them off. You can see there again, it's giving me a warning. I tried to tick that off, but there's actually some data I need to complete. So I've got to go in there and take some action. So again, it saves people just going through and ticking things off and getting rid of them. And you'll also see here there's an upcoming tab. And what that does, it shows me any tasks that have got due dates coming up soon. And I can just go in there and again just work through them right here from the inbox. So again, it just saves me milling around. The great thing with this as well, Kelly, is if you're managing a number of different employees or team members, what you can do is jump in and look at the inbox of your colleagues as well. So I can literally go and see what's been assigned to my team. So I can go in there and see, okay, this individual here, who's this? This is Anne. So Anne's got 30 tasks she needs to get done. She's got 1 upcoming. So I might want to ping Anne eventually and just say, you've got some stuff you need to get through here. just have a look at your inbox.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So that's inbox. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was checklist scheduling. So again, if we go to the template here, let's go back to this finance template. Again, I know in your world, repetitiveness and ongoing tasks, reoccurring tasks is a big thing.
Yeah, we're groundhogs.
Yes, definitely. So what we've done here, we've built in a scheduling option, so we can go to the actual template and build out a schedule, a reoccurring schedule. So we can just pick the template we want. We can name it right here in the schedule. So we could say this is accounting payable process, and we'll just put July there, 2019. So that's, let's give it a unique name. We can assign someone to this this checklist when it's run, and then we can choose when we want to schedule it. So we could say, monthly, weekly, yearly, whenever. We could say monthly, and it repeats once a month, and we can either pick a day of the month or a day of the week. And then we just go to the calendar and we'll say, on the 31st of the month, this will be scheduled. And then we can also add a due date. So we could say, let's say 2 days after this has been scheduled, once it's run, it will become due. So if we schedule that now, this checklist is now sat in our schedule tab, and that'll run every 31st of the month until we go in there and tell it to stop. It will automatically trigger that checklist to run. It will assign the appropriate members of staff. It will add the appropriate due dates.
It's always going to say July, though. It's always going to say July. Is there a way to get it to custom name?
In this case, yes. What you can do here, you'll see, I just added that just to show you that you can customize a date. But you'll see here, what you can do is you can add variables. So you can say, in this case, it will say the checklist date and the checklist time. You can go in there and change your variables, so you can more or less call it what you want.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So again, that's sort of set it and forget it. Once it's done, it's done. So that's again another powerful time saver.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are more or less all the core features of Process Street. The other things are sort of admin related. So you can go to your organization here. You can add members and guests simply by just inviting them. You can type in their email address here and invite them into your organization.
What's the difference between a member and a guest?
Okay, so a member is a paid member, so you'll pay for them to be in your organization. It's a paid seat. Guests are free; they're free users. However, their permissions are quite limited. So the idea with the guest accounts is you might want to invite a client in just to complete certain sections of a checklist. Right. You don't want them sort of milling around and editing your templates and having a look at other folders. So their permissions are quite restricted. But you can always go in and upgrade any. You may have a guest in there that's coming in on a regular basis. You could maybe upgrade them for a month, make them a member for a month, and then downgrade them again. And again, you can make your members admin to give them administrative privileges within the organization. But yeah, guests are really for, people who are popping in every now and then, completing a checklist, and then off they go.
Right. Okay, cool.
With the current plans, the guests are limited to 5 guests for every 1 paid member.
Oh, okay.
Just to help manage that. And again, with these, you can swap them in and out. So you could have a guest in there for a week or so, and then when they finish their process, you can remove them and add another guest. You can also build groups as well. So you saw me earlier on, I assigned a finance group. You can build as many groups as you want that's appropriate for your organization. And then you can start adding members to those groups. So here in the finance group, you can start adding those members directly to groups. And again, like you saw earlier, you can manage the permissions of those groups as well. What else we got? So we've got APIs and settings. So you might want to. I know previously recently you've done a webinar about Zapier.
Yeah.
So again, Process Street can integrate seamlessly with most tools through Zapier, and again, when you do want to integrate, you just come here, create your new API key, and you've got it right here. You can just link that up to Zapier and start integrating with other tools. Here's another great one in terms of an audit trail. If you go to your activities log, this will show you all the activity that's taking place within your organization.
Oh, okay.
So it's all time stamped, date stamped, and user stamped as well. So you can see here, I added a date to a task on the 8th of May at 8:46 p.m. This shows you all the activity.
We love audit logs.
Yeah. The great thing with this as well is it not only shows you for the entire organization, but if we go back to a specific checklist, each checklist has got its own log as well. So again, if I just go back to, let's pull up this checklist here, you'll see just down here, if I hit this little time icon, it will give me an activities log. There we go. So you can see I assigned Tony Brown to the checklist on the 8th of May. You can hit all activity and it'll give you all the activity on that specific checklist. So again, you might have, let's say, you're training someone, or, there's been an issue and you're trying to work out where the issue took place. You can just open up your activities log. You can see exactly when it happened and, who was responsible for it. So very useful feature there. And the last one in here is your billing information. So with the billing information, this is only visible to the administrator in the organization. Members can't see this, guests can't see this, but in here you can go in and upgrade your plan. You can change your billing details, etc. You can see how many members you've currently got in your organization. You can see, what your next bill, how much your next bill is going to be. So that's that. And then also, real quick, again, these are just the boring admin stuff. You can go to your profile and settings. You can add a profile picture. You can change your name, etc. You can manage your notifications. So if you want to unsubscribe from our emails, here, this is quite a new feature. At the moment, each member of the organization gets a daily email from us. And what that does, it tells them every day, every morning, they'll get an email telling them any tasks they've got due. So remember the inbox I showed you earlier? It will basically give them an overview of what's in the inbox. So it will say, hi, Tony, today you've got 2 tasks overdue, and you've got 2 tasks upcoming. And again, within that email, I can click straight into it and go straight to that task. You can also manage your groups from here. Again, it's got another activities log, and then also organizations. So with your Process Street account, what you can do is have multiple organizations under one account. So, within as one user, you can actually have multiple organizations. What I usually use this for is different test organizations.
Sure.
You might want to have a training organization. So when you're inducting new members of staff, rather than getting them in your existing, your real live org, you could have a testing org and get them used to using the platform in that testing environment. So it's really useful for that. And that's about it, Kelly. That's more or less everything.
I mucked about in it before and thought it was just great. Yeah. So I really appreciate the demo on it. And now you're going to show me how to upload some stuff into my own, right?
Yeah, no problem. No problem
because lots of us already, your library was great. You've got a lot of stuff already started in there, especially for the onboarding and all the stuff that people really don't want to get started on. But
actually, what we usually say is, as a starting point, it's always good just to have a look at the pre-made templates, because it allows you to see all the functions and features in action and shows you the full capabilities of the platform. Starting with a blank template, if I just hit blank template here, you kind of sat there looking at a blank canvas thinking, right, where do I start? You're presented with this and you're like, right, where do I start? Where with the pre-made...
Can we try that in mine? Like, can we share a different screen so that we can see that it's easy even for a complete newbie like me to do?
No problem. So if I stop sharing, and you can share your screen there.
Okay, let's share to here and there. Can you see my my Process Street right now? Oh wait, I didn't share. There. Can you see my Process Street right now?
There we go. Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so here I am. So I guess
Okay, so if you want to,
so I know that I start here, right?
yeah, well, that's the first sort of walkthrough demo. If you want to go back to home, if you wanted to start from scratch, if you just hit new, that's it, and then start with a new blank template. And what you can do is you can just name your template whatever you need to call it. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit OK. So here we go. You're presented with a blank canvas here. Now, do you have an idea of what process you're going to build out here at all?
We'll build out bookkeeping.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah. So you remember I said there's a difference between the header tasks and the actual tasks. If you just put a colon at the end of that, just put a colon in. There you go. It's now turned that into a header. So you can now go down to the next row underneath there. Yeah, and you can start writing out your first task.
Okay.
Okay, nag client. Okay, let's stay on that task. Let's just stay up there. Nag client. Okay, and then what we want to do is pull in. Yeah, there you go. You've pulled in your email. You might want to add a text widget at the top as well to give a bit of context. So if you see just on the top, there we go. Just pull that above or below. Doesn't really matter.
Oh, I see. Is this the text widget?
That's
okay.
right.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so it moves around fairly easily, right?
That's right. Yeah, you can hit those arrows and move it up and down.
Okay.
And you can just drop some context in there. So you could say, you know, this task, you need to complete this, this, and this. So you just add in your context there.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Links.
And then you've got your email widget there as well. Yeah, you can add hyperlinks in there.
Yeah. What do you call this? WYSIWYG or something? Isn't that what this whole thing is called? Is WYSIWYG? And I can add. Now I'm just goofing around. So that's another one of these, and then
you've got another text widgets. So just as an example here, Kelly, you can see you've dropped in a number of different text widgets there. If you did pull them in by mistake, you'll see as you hover over them, there we go, the X pops up. You can just get rid of those if needs be. There we go. You can pull in an image there.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of
profile
her.
picture.
Okay. Yeah. And then this is a task, and then I can add subtasks. Not until I add a task, right?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, but now I'm gonna add an email, right? And so that could go in here, who it's going to be to.
Yeah.
Whether
and again with this, do you remember the form?
Yeah.
Do you remember the form fields we were using previously?
Yeah.
So if I just show you this, so underneath here, if you just pull in, you see where it's got the form fields. It's got the forms just underneath the widgets there.
Here.
On the right hand side, just on the right hand side there.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Look at all the funness.
If you pull in an email widget, so just there we go, pull in that, and then just put in there, I don't know, client's email.
Yeah.
There we go. And then so in your email widget at the top, where it's got that magic wand, if you just click that at the top in the send to field at the top, there we go, just click that magic wand and you'll see there it's now got client's email. So if you hit that, what you've now done is you've added that variable. So when the client's email is added, when this form field's completed, it will automatically populate that to field there. And it's again just showing you how simple it is to use variables there.
Okay.
So again, do you remember on one of the templates I showed you, it had a file that you could download, so the user could download. So again, you'll see underneath the video just at the top there, it's got a file field. Underneath video, it's got file. If you drag that in, and what that does, that allows you to upload a file that the user can download. So again, you might be, might be adding some financial information. So you might add a spreadsheet to that, or again, it might be just some further documentation that they need. If you if you was to hit that upload file, you can actually add the file into the template. So every time the checklist is run, that file there will become available to the person completing the
Oh,
checklist.
okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
that allows you to share files with the end user. The other one you're just about to do, the file upload one, if you drag that in, so the one in the form fields just at the bottom there we go. What that one does, that allows the user to upload a document for you to access. So it's like a two-way thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they might download that file. It might be linked to, say, something like hello sign or something. They would add their data to it, and then they would then use that upload file to send it back to you and add it back into the checklist. So again, you haven't got to go back and forth on email. You haven't got to send things through WeSend or WeTransfer. You can do it all within the checklist. It will never get lost.
Cool.
Again, great feature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right. Okay. So then,
see how quickly we can get building on this.
Yeah. Okay. But what I'd rather do is, you also told me that there's a way to just upload a CSV file or an Excel file, or I have a Google sheet of some of them that I like.
Okay.
Because this is starting to make sense to me, and somebody's just going to have to play with it to get used to these. But I'm already using things like Typeform and Google Docs, and all of this makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But now let's see if somebody already has templates, how they upload them, and then what happens.
Okay, yeah. In terms of building out the template, it's not necessarily as easy as uploading it, but there is a quick way you can do it. So if you've got a spreadsheet, or if you've got a Word doc with some templates in there, we could have a look at that. Like I mentioned to you before, I think before we started the call, I did mention a lot of people that come to us, they've already got some documented processes somewhere, whether it's in Word, whether it's in Excel, whether it's in Google Sheets, but they're not very dynamic.
Right.
So what they want to do is basically transfer those over into Process Street.
Right.
A quick way to do that is, if they are, let's say you've got an Excel sheet. So for example, you've got that there. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So what you should be able to do, if you select the first row there, that top column, the next one down where the text starts there. Yeah. And then just scroll all the way down to the bottom.
Right.
And then select the last. Yeah. So you want to basically select everything. And then you should be able to just copy that and then go back over into Process Street.
Yep.
And then hit that first the first row there, and then hit paste. It should paste all those.
Let's start a new one.
Yeah, you might need to just grab that. There we go. There we go. So you can see it's now listed out all those steps as separate tasks. Now, probably what you probably should have done is formatted the the Excel file before you copied it across.
Right.
What we'd usually do, we'd go in and just clean up the Excel file. Yeah. So we've got just one long list of tasks, and we just literally drop it straight into there. But the main thing we're demonstrating there is that you haven't got to type it all out again. You haven't got to cut and paste it individually. As long as you've got a clean list of tasks, you can drop it straight in there, and it will create a list of tasks for you. And it's as simple as that.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty simple.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. We've covered more or less everything, unless there's anything else you want to cover.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a really great job of describing how it all works and where the power is going to come from in it. And I just see so many possibilities here. One of the things we struggle with is communicating with our clients. So even if somebody just takes Process Street and uses it as a starting point for getting information back and forth to their client, that's a great start. Yeah, I saw so many possibilities for client interaction here. in this,
Yeah.
engaging them and getting some of their tasks done and making it easy for them. That's one of the things I always say, make it easy so it gets done. And I see so many
Yeah.
ways in here for that to happen.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just show you one more thing. If you mention, just in terms of sharing, if you just hit save there at the top on the top left, and then you'll see on the right hand side there, there's an option to share the template. If you wanted to share the actual template with someone, you've got a few options there. You can add them to it, or next to that there's a share link. So if you hit that share link there, it actually gives you a link so you can share the entire template. So let's say you've got a counterpart somewhere and you want to actually give them permission to edit the template or just to work through the template. You could do that. But if you didn't want them to actually mess with the templates, you can. If you just go to the next tab, you'll see what says run link. Now, what this does, this is perfect for sharing with clients. What this run link will do, if you copy that run link and send it to someone, even if it was in Slack, via email or whatever, you can send them that link. And when they click that link, it will automatically run a checklist based off this template. So, you could put that in the body of an email to one of your clients and say, hi, Tony, please use the link below to access the checklist for this period. And I would hit that link and it would trigger a new checklist off this template, and I can just start working through it. And it's as easy as that to share.
Really? And who would it assign it to?
Checklist.
Like, to the client? It shows up in Process Street, or they're getting something to check off? What?
So basically, so if I run it,
Right.
obviously it will tell you that someone's run a checklist. So it'll notify you to say someone's run a checklist. And obviously I would name it and it would automatically assign me to that checklist. But remember, within the template we built earlier, we already had tasks and individuals assigned. So as soon as I trigger that, all those assignees, all those due dates would all be assigned to that checklist.
Okay.
All your staff team would get a notification to say, Tony's triggered a checklist. There's a task coming up due for them. So I'm just showing you quick ways you can share these checklists with clients.
Okay.
So that's another great option.
That is a great option.
You can also, it is, yeah. If you just close it out, if you just hit done, and then if you just want to hit run checklist there, just on the top right corner, just hit run checklist, yeah, and just run that checklist. Doesn't matter what it's called. I just want to show you another way you can share them. So this way, rather than using the run checklist, you've actually run the checklist now. You've manually gone in and run a checklist. And then what you want to do is where it's got assign user, that's where you can assign your clients as well. So you can just add their email address to there and it will pull them into that checklist and they'll get a notification to say they've been assigned to a checklist and they can start working through that. So it's as simple as that. Yeah.
That is fantastic. That is so fantastic. Okay. So I know that I hogged you and kept you later than I wanted to, or that you wanted to, because I know it's just so that everybody knows, Tony's in England. So 5 hours ahead of Toronto. Yeah.
That's
so
right.
it's late
10 past,
right now.
10 past 9 here now.
Right. For now, it's past my bedtime.
Dark
For sure. Where you are. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us. There's so many possibilities here. I'm just like, I'm giddy on the things you can do with this for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, Kelly. I mean, to be honest, we've only scraped the surface as well because we haven't talked about the integration possibilities.
Right.
With the demos, we just demonstrate the benefits of using the platform. We could have gone into so much more depth with, each feature, all the different widgets, etc. We could have gone into a lot more depth there, but you can see I quickly ran through things just to demonstrate the benefits of using the platform. But in terms of, like I mentioned, our mission statements, making reoccurring work fun, fast, and faultless. Right. You can see with what's been presented, you can certainly achieve that with Process Street.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it immensely what you have done for us here today. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say, except thank you very much.
You're welcome. Do you want to make your audience aware of the offer that we've got available?
Yep. So 20% off, 100 maximum offers on it. It's in the workflow watering hole already with the code that you have to use, and you need to register still. Are we going to have them register still for this, or it's just an offer to the workflow watering hole?
Yeah, I mean, I would say anyone who's watching this, if you want to get involved, you want to start using Process Streets, there's an offer available to you guys, which is 20% off for the first 6 months.
That's great.
Off any plan. So yeah, I would suggest jump on a Business Pro plan, which has got all the features that we've just demonstrated. And then, yeah, it's as simple as that. Just use the link that Kellie's provided, get signed up, and we'll apply that discount to your account.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much. Right. I appreciate your time.
Nice one, Kellie. Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll be able to do this again soon.
I hope so. Okay. Thank you.